Okay, this is in order to make up for the fact that I never actually included any of my extensive documentation on actually the process that we went through. Just to begin with, Bucks County Tourism Guide lists the nature region up north. There's Quakertown, that was where we went on the last Saturday. Sellersville was the first weekend, Percy was the second weekend. Below that you will see Doylestown, smack dab center in the cultural region. And over to the left you will see New Hope. That was the fifth weekend. It gets, the breakdown basically is just so people can have some sort of shopping guides, I suppose, to where they want to go buy things. I didn't find it was actually that good an idea. But then again, you see Doylestown does have all of the Mercer entities, boom, 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 1, 2, 3, as well as the National Shrine, which we didn't get to. This in itself is one of the early Google Maps. We were using that in the days before I met Gene, and we didn't have his GPS, so the driving instructions were rather primitive, and they weren't very accurate either. As you can see, canvas site written in, outgoing directions written in. We basically had to take our cues from there. It wasn't easy, because you had to understand that if you made a right turn or a left turn and had to go around, you didn't know which was left and which was right and which was up and down. Confusing. This is a cartoon map, one of those jolly little things I hand out to people to let them know where they are, with all sorts of little icons. You'll see Lhasa to the right, Doylestown to the left. This is Lahaska. It was also where I picked up the bus. It was also Peddler's Village, and we saw those great cars. Here we are at Doylestown. You can see there's the old county seat again. Just to belabor the point one last time, it appears they put the lid down. Ha, ha, ha. Above that you will see the other half of the map, which is where the Courthouse Inn was. And you can see all things Mercer behind it. That's how I could just walk to it. That was the beauty of my little nature morning that Sunday. And also where we ended up on the last weekend. As you can see here, I've tried to make some numbers. I've tried to figure out where I was. In the center, that number 3 is sort of representing a pork chop. I don't exactly know why. I thought that was Buckingham. It's not, but there it was. This in itself is one of the early vote builders. As you can see, we just put circles around trying to figure out things. The one thing they didn't tell you was that Vote Builder put out the pages in evens and odds for street numbers. So if you didn't have both evens and odds for the street numbers, you broke it up with a partner, you could actually be going in the wrong direction and have to go back in the opposite, entailing quite a bit of covering one's tracks. And considering the necessity of completing all your walker packets by the end of the day, that was always a chore. At the top you'll see an arrow that is crossed out going down Barringer Lime Kiln Pike, and at the bottom you will see another arrow going up Green Street. This is an idea, give you an idea of how complicated it was figuring out which direction you were going in, as well as figuring out which way the directions were supposed to go, as well as figuring out the numbering of the streets. As I said before, nothing but post offices in a lot of places. In the suburbs it was easier, but still, it was complicated. Finally, as you can see, the countdown over on the left there on Diamond Street, 54321, trying to figure out how we would finish off the day, those walker packets. They were quite this burden around our neck. Warminster, Pennsylvania, yes, I remember this one. That was way up north. And it was adjacent to the other subdivisions. You see, we get our walker packets and go together. As you see here, the numbering of the circles. The 2 represents an early innovation, basically figuring out that 2 suburbs, one suburb with 2 sections immediately adjacent to each other, you could park in the center, that sort of overlap there of the Venn diagrams, and then send one team out to 1, 2, and another team out to the other 2, and then come back and move the car again. Jameson was, as you can see, very close to Warminster. That's pretty much the same same thing is you get a couple of Walker packets, and then you try and figure out how to make them adjacent, because they don't tell you that they're adjacent. This one, yes, oh yes, York Road over on the left was not, I repeat, not Route 263. It was actually behind it. Oh, here's 5. Now, 5 is a very nice area. This was the New Hope area, I think it was the 5th weekend. Gene and I covered all this on a lovely Sunday afternoon. Gorgeous sunlight. And you can see that it reads right next to the Delaware River. That entailed quite a bit of running along there. This is the first part of the day. Just basically trying to maneuver around those streets. A lot of them were very difficult to find, even with Gene's GPS gal. We worked hard on that. Over here, you'll see a bunch of numbers and question marks. That's because they didn't seem to exist. There was the horse farm, and then when you get over to that cluster right by the river, that was really, really difficult. Yes, Solaberry. We had no idea what they were. It was actually running along the canal and what was also referred to as the towpath. And there was no sidewalks. There was not even a verge. The Sarah Palin debate flowchart was given to us by one of our people who said, hey, you want to see something funny? This was just sent to me. Serendipity. You got to take it. You got to love it. And we did. Laughed about this in the car quite a bit. I had a good time just trying to trace it down and do my, Tina Fey impersonation. This, let's see, Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Oh yes, this is very north, I believe. Yes, this was the Buckminster weekend. Yes, the Buckminster weekend is this area, as you see, number 3. It isn't actually number 3. It's further up number 3. I'd say it's closer to the Durham Road intersection with Pleasant Pike. Durham Road, Durham Road. Durham Road was my bête noire for that day. Up and down, up and down. Durham Road, as you can see here. Well, let's just explain. It was raining. It was pouring. The Walker packets were getting wet. The maps were getting wet. This is also where I began to actually do the countdowns, as you can see. People would ask me for score. There it is, 4, I believe, is Durham Road. A tremendous number. It's difficult to find addresses in the rain, even when you're driving. And getting up and down those driveways, give me a break. As you can see, the Walker packets now are much more detailed, but everyone was asking me, how did we do today? What was our counts? So I started making them and giving them to my associates. That was kind of fun. The thing about keeping score is that it got better and better. We found that there were less and less McCain supporters and more Obama supporters. Very heartening. Very heartening. 39 doors basically means those are 39 that we knocked, 18 contacted, 14 Obama, 4 undecided. That was starting to get to be the trend towards the end. We were actually able to pick out this change in the wind. 7 McCain supporters, 15 Obama. We knew we were making it. There's just no question about it. Everything shows up in the numbers. And at any rate, this was also Buckingham. This was 2 subdivisions linked together, gorgeous subdivisions, and a lovely day to walk around in them.